right? Like, so I got that role, and I remember working on it really hard. And yeah, I was bummed I didn't get the lead in Castlevania, but when I saw the show, I was like, I'm so glad I didn't get that, because that dude kicked ass. He was so good at that role, I could never have done that. I could never have lent that perspective to that character. So, you know, there's a little bit of, I guess, destiny involved in that a little bit. But it's always nice to hear how close I was to what they ended up picking, or if it was like way far off. In commercials, it's a little more evident. Like I'll audition for a commercial, and then I'll hear it on the TV, and I'll be like, yeah, okay, I was pretty much close, and they were pretty much splitting hairs. I was, you know, kind of on the ball where I needed to be. But video games and anime and animation could be like, oh wow, what a totally wildly different interpretation. That's a lot of fun. So, yeah.
Is there any new voice actors that have kind of just entered the industry that are doing anything cool that's caught your eye?
Are there any new voice actors entering the industry that have caught my eye? So I work with students a lot now. I find that there are students that are kind of like embracing their uniqueness, which is really cool. And I try to like foster that. When a student comes to me, they have a very unique voice. Like I'm working with this guy right now, and he's just like, his voice sounds like this all the time. And like, right, like, and it sounds way better than when I'm doing it because I'm making a voice, right? He's doing his own thing, like that's just how he speaks. And so I'm finding a lot of actors trying to find like, okay, where, not necessarily like, how can I be like everybody else, but like, where's my niche? Like, where's my little spot to fit in? And I like that trend because it makes for a lot more individuals and not like just a bunch of people trying to sound like voiceover artists. So that's pretty cool. As far as like up and coming people that I like specifically, I can't think of anybody off like the top of my head that I'm like, oh man, that what a great performance. They end up being like super established. Like if I hear a role and I'm like, holy crap, who was that? They've been around for 20 years and I just didn't know it was them. Yeah.
When you first started kind of doing vocal work or kind of learning that you had that talent, was there any character or characters that you kind of really kind of gravitated towards to use as kind of like a way to exercise your voice? And have you created any unique characters just to play with? So
the question is, have I ever created any unique characters when I got started? Like how did I start figuring out what my vocal print was, is kind of that thing. Yeah. So when I started out, I really started out doing a lot of like unsexy corporate work, right? And I found that sort of vibe, every time people were asking for somebody that was relaxed and earnest and like easy to talk to or easy to listen to, like I would book that kind of work a lot. And so then that translated quite a bit into character work where, and I say this to my students all the time, always you work from the center outwards, right? So I tried to, the market kind of told me where it liked me. And then I could start to play it and move stuff out. But even still, like the biggest roles I've booked are still right in that sort of like easy to listen to, earnest, honest, like laid back kind of thing. Like that's where most of my stuff has been. But I wouldn't say that like I ever sit down and I'm like, I'm gonna create a new character voice today and then I'm gonna put it in my pocket. It's all very organic when I get auditions where I'm like, okay, what can this guy sound like? Or, you know, what's his perspective really? Cool. I saw some hands in the back, right there.
Yeah, I think most people here know you for your voice acting, but I'm wondering, do you have any more novels planned for coming up?
I don't. Writing is an interesting industry. And I find it like it kind of like grinds people down quite a bit more than acting does, because the publishing industry is this massive machine that still sort of behaves like it's in the 1970s in a lot of ways. Without getting into like too much inside baseball here, I love writing, I hate publishing, right? Like I love the process of writing, but everything that comes afterward was such a slog. And I'm just like really busy. The amount of like time it takes to write a novel versus like go audition for, I could audition for literally thousands of jobs, and the time it takes me to write a single novel, and I never know if that's always a dice roll, right? Like, is a publisher gonna pick it up? Am I gonna like, you know, what's my agent gonna, I still have a literary agent. What's my agent gonna wanna do with it? Should I self-publish? Do I have that kind of time? So it's really like, it's its own separate career. And so right now it's kind of on the back burner, but I think about it a lot. I love writing, I love stories, so.
What was your favorite part about making the Rise in music video?
Man. What was my favorite part about making the Rise in music video? that was such an unexpectedly incredible process. And it was really like this serendipitous thing where I just had the right people, right? I hired the right videographer. I happened to have a friend in the stunt industry who could help me coordinate. I knew a great mixing and mastering engineer who could polish my turd every time I sent her, like, here's these tracks, can you make them sound not crappy? You know, I had musicians in the industry that I've been friends with for years. Everything on the track is me except the bongos in the back, which is my friend Doug, who's an exceptional auxiliary percussionist and vibraphone player. The electric guitar solo in the middle is my friend Ro, and there's like one measure of like breakbeat drums in the back. That's my friend Andy. So my favorite part of it was like seeing that all come together. And punching people. Like the fight scene, like the fight scene in the jail, because we shot for 2 days in 3 different locations, and not the jail, the boxing ring. Man, that was a lot of work. That was like a lot of work. I don't know if you look really closely at the costume, you see much less of it by the end because shit's falling off. like the toe caps of the boots are both gone. At one point, the handcuffs just like I couldn't get them to stay on. There's like little diamonds and stuff that were falling off, and it's kind of cool because it goes with like how beat up he's getting as he goes. So, but that night was, I mean, we had a great time. We were punching each other until 1 o'clock in the morning. It was great. I loved it. That whole process. Was almost addicting at how fun it was. I would do one 3 times a year if I had the funds and material. What else? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This was more like in specific connection, but just like any like character you've done, what was like the most bizarre like vocal like feedback you've gotten, or like direction?
Okay, that's so interesting. I was just thinking about the weird direction I've gotten. One of the ones when I was, anybody here played Shadowverse?
Yeah.
Okay, 4 of you, great. I was rowing in Shadowverse for, I guess I still am, for it's probably my longest running gig I've ever done is rowing in Shadowverse. And we were trying to like blend the idea of him because he's possessed by a dragon, and so like the director was like, I need 25% more dragon. And so like that was a weird vocal direction. I had another one, a couple of that was more like ridiculous, where I in a commercial session where commercial's a different beast, you guys. It's like sometimes you get folks in there that are like trying to Spielberg you for like a 15-second radio commercial, right? Like they're like the director's like, yeah, you gotta, and you're like, I just want to read the words. And I'm quoting this exactly. Really have a lot of fun with that pause. It's fucking silence. Like, what do you want me to do with it? But I remember like the room just being like that, right? Like exactly like that for a couple seconds where I was like, okay, pumping up the pause. Take 19, here we go. So those are some of the 2 weirdest directions I think I've gone. Mm-hmm.
So what would you like, how do you balance getting good quality equipment while not like overspending?
That's great. So you need only 2 pieces of equipment to be a voice actor. You need a microphone and an interface. And we talked about this. You can kind of combine them with a USB mic if you want to. That's it.
Yep.
That is it. You need nothing else. I booked my first job on a microphone that cost $67. And actually, I won it in a competition for music remixing. One of my students booked a national commercial on that same microphone. 10 years later, now it's like $80. You don't need a lot. The only qualifying question is, does it sound good? And so you play around with different things. There's well-known brands, there's not well-known brands. I've worked on some microphones from like rando companies, and I'm like, oh my God, this is incredible. There's just to give you an example, there's a legendary microphone called the Neumann U87. It's $3,500. And it's been used in studios all over the world for projects big and small, from time immemorial. I
I know I'll never be the same. Shook my world so hard again. Wish I washed away my sins. He's a dead man walking, blank stare in his eyes. Should've given up on the ones I trust. Never should have been surprised when they shot him down. Cold blood to the ground.